so awful I'd want to leave the house because I couldn't stand to listen to it anymore.
Right. And just think,
F words at her kids, you know.
And it's not even understanding what the heck she doing, man.
Yeah,
you know,
just scream and cuss at them, and it's like, man, they're gonna then they're repeating that language in
right.
school and other, using
right.
those F words.
Right. It's unconscious, man, you know. And you know why she was doing that? You know why she was screaming and cussing at her children? Because she was screamed and cussed at when she was a child, right? Yeah. And she's not being intentional on resisting the negative, right? She felt a certain type of way when her parents was doing it to her, right? Yeah. And because she's not thinking about it, it just automatically surfaces in her parenting now because it's the way to do things. So she's taking that poison and giving her children the same poison that she was given.
Yeah, then they were going to school and getting in trouble, coming back with
absolutely right. Absolutely right. So now they are going to treat people the way that, they are being treated, which is in a destructive way. So their mom was treated in a destructive way growing up, and now she treats her children in a destructive way, and now they're going to go out and treat other people in a destructive way. And when they have children, if they don't identify that stuff and start to become conscious, then they are going to treat their children in the same destructive manner, right? And it just repeats that cycle. And they become these type of individuals. Nobody knows how to be when they come into this world. Don't nobody know how to do anything when they come into this world. We learn how to be and how to do stuff by our environments that we come up in. Everything that we do in life is based on what has been put inside of us, right? That's how we learn how to function. You see what I'm saying? Because if you grow up in a certain part of the world, you can't just go ahead and shake somebody's hand. Extending your hand for a handshake would be disrespect. If I was to go to China or something like that, shaking hands is disrespect. But if I'm in America, it's like, man, it's respectful to go ahead and reach out your hand and shake somebody's hand, right? So it just depends on what part of the country that you're in, which will determine what is respect, what's not, how you move and how you don't, right? Like, you go to China, you know what I'm saying? But if I was to do things that I would do over here in America and China, they might look at it as, man, hold up, no, we don't do it like that. Yeah. So we'll determine how we do things based on, that's the human being for you. We are sponges, right? We are sponges. We are influenced beings. If you look at something over and over again, you'll start to become what you see over and over again. Whatever you digest, you will become it. Have you ever been around somebody and they were saying a certain word, and next thing you know, you were saying that same word that they were saying because you just been around it for so long, and you like, man, hey, I done heard this word so often, man, I'm starting to say it. Or have you heard a song played over and over again, and at first you didn't like the song, but after you heard it for so long, you started to sing the song when it came on. You started to sing. One of the songs that I done heard so much right now is Big Body Benz, remember I used to be dusty. Big Body Benz, remember I used to be dusty. And I'm like, man, I done heard this stuff so much, man. My children singing it. So now it's in my head. I'm like, dang, Big Body Benz, remember I used to be dusty. And I'm like, that thing just keeps on playing in my head, man. But we are influenced beings. So then that's why I have the understanding of people, because I understand that the reason why people are the way that they are is because they was influenced to be like that. And if I was in their same environment, if I came up around the same people that they came up around, then I could be the same exact way. So then that's what keeps me from being critical of people. Because I understand that that's the way that they are because of the way that they was influenced. You see what I'm saying? So nobody is better than nobody else at the end of the day. It's just about, man, who we came up around, which determines the way that we think. So that's why I'm intentional on making sure that my children are thinking in a way that I believe is going to get them to the places in life that I want them to be. That's why I'm intentional of making sure that they self-regulating, right? And that's good stuff because my daughter is literally at the school talking about self-regulating, right? She was telling her grandmother and her mother, like, decisions, right? She's talking about decisions. She's understanding consequences and decisions right now at 6 years old because I'm explaining this stuff to her, right? I'm giving her the information that she needs to have so she can think on another level at 6 years old. And as she continues to grow, grow and evolve, guess what? She's going to get more firm in that thinking. Positive thinking is going to get her to a positive place. Only thing that gets us into bad places in life is the error in our thinking. We have errors in our thinking. We say that we can't do, and that's why we don't even try, right? The reason why people continuously lose in life is because of the error in their thinking, because they say that they don't got what it takes to overcome whatever opposition is out there, and that's why they don't even try to overcome it. They just lay down. The reason why people lay down is because they believe that they don't have what it takes. But I let my children know, you got everything that you need. Everything that you need, you got. So don't squander anything that you got. You got everything that you need. So when they wake up, they ain't waking up as in, man, you know what? Man, I ain't got the biggest houses. I ain't got that money that other people got. I let them know right now, don't compare yourself to nobody else. Compare yourself to yourself. That means that I compare myself to myself. I'm better today than I was yesterday. I'm giving them the way to think, because if they continuously look outside of themselves and they base who they are on other people, where other people are at, to get them to understand that they are successful based on where other people are at, and they measure themselves against other people, then they're going to be at a disadvantage. Because when they get next to somebody that they believe is further and better than them, then guess how they are going to feel about themselves? They're going to be insecure. And then that person can take advantage of them because they see the weakness in my children. So I let my children know, man, hey, this is good, because, and I'm telling you, man, this is real stuff that I'm dealing with my daughter, man. Like right now, my son, he cool, but I deal with them just to get them with the right information, because if they don't have the right information, man, they can be in a bad place. So I'm working with developing their minds. My daughter, she was in as any child would be, looking at other people's situations and saying that it's better, looking at what other people got, saying that it's better. These are childish things. But what we as adults are to do is to help them to be able to break out of it, and to help them evolve and let them know what it's really about. Man, don't compare yourself against nobody. Everything that you got, you are supposed to have. Who you are supposed to be. So I don't want my daughter, she has, she's not, no hard on the eyes type of child, right? So she's going to grow up, and that's what people tell her, like, oh, you're so pretty. So I want to make sure that she understands that it's not about the looks, it's about the content, right? Because you don't have to work for your looks. Your looks is automatically given to you, and that's relative. Some people might think you're sexy, some people might not, So I don't want her to grow up and depend on her looks and think that her looks is what's going to get her the things in life. You be around those type of women who feel like, man, I look so pretty, I can have whatever I want, but they insides be shallow. They don't have nothing on the inside, and you can go ahead and get with that person who looks all pretty and stuff like that. But when you start to do time with that individual, you'll start to look at that prettiness and be like, man, that prettiness ain't worth it. Man, you get on my nerves. I don't even really want to be around you, right? Because of who they actually are. It doesn't match their outside. So that's what I want my children and my daughter to understand. Like, man, listen, it's about what's on the inside, because what's on the inside is what's going to get you to the place in life that you need to be. But guess what? You got to work the inside. You got to develop the inside. You got to develop the way that you are. You got to develop the way that you think, right? You got to develop that. You ain't got to develop your prettiness. You see, that's what Instagram and all of that, they taking all of these pictures, look at me. And people, I hear people they be coming into their inbox like, man, I want to make you my wife, and you ain't never even had a conversation with this individual, and you ready to make them your wife, right? How you going to make them your wife, and you ain't even had a conversation with them? You saying that you want them to be your wife based on the way that they look? Looks will fade, brothers, and looks ain't gonna pay the bills, brothers. When they got all of this stuff going on in their head, and they are with you and they are in your house, they will have you in your driveway not even wanting to come into your house. They be all pretty and everything, and you sit in the driveway like, I don't even want to go into that dang old hellhole. And they up in there pretty than the mug, feet all done, nice body and all of that stuff. And you saying to yourself, man, dang, I can't even go into the house because it's going to be hell when I go up in there. And they pretty than a mug. But what's on the inside is just a whole bunch of conflict. It's a war going on the inside of them. And that chaos, it gets presented in the household. So that's why I want my children, especially my daughter, not to rest her, her accomplishments on, her looks. It's like, man, it's about, man, who you are. So that's what I'm focusing on. So it's just good, man, just to be able to give, them that information that they need to be able to go at life, and also that's going to put them in a powerful place. Because if they are resting their, everything on the way that they look, if somebody says that they're ugly, then guess what they're going to do? They're going to try to work to try to be, fitting into somebody else's eyes. They're going to say, you know what? Hey, I got to become this because you are saying I'm not accepted. You are not validating me. So they are going to go out there and look to be validated. So one thing that I had to go with my daughter, and this is some heavy duty stuff, especially being in Pickerington, right? So being in Pickerington, she says, and I'm kidding you not, this is what she says, but I'm glad that I was there to be able to help her out, because if I wasn't, then it could have been something different, and she could have grew up with this complex, right? That put her in a. This is how real a parenting piece is. This is how important it is that we be there, because we can start to curve some of those thoughts that's going to put them in bad places in life. My daughter, she says this. She says, Dad, no lie, because we're in Pickerington, right? And she says, and it's it's more Caucasian than it is African American. So she says, Dad, man, man, white skin is better than black skin. This is exactly what she says. She says, man, white skin is better than black skin. And I says, daughter, man, it's not about no skin. Like, don't depend on no skin, right? It's about, man, what's on the inside of you, who you are. That's what will determine where you will be at in life, man. You can't sit up here and put your skin up and say, man, that's going to get stuff done for me, because your skin ain't going to get stuff done for you. What's going to get stuff done for you is who you actually are. And I told her, I says, man, if I am sick, I'm not going to sit up there and say, like, your skin can't go ahead and give me medicine. Your skin can't go ahead and take care of me. The only thing that can take care of me is who you are as a person, what's on the inside of you, your desire to take care of me, your desire to think about, man, what type of medicine is going to make me well. That's the only thing that can take care of me, but your skin can't take care of me. Your skin does nothing. And she was like, wow. And I said, man, you know what? I says, man, everything that you are is who God has created you to be. Appreciate that. That means that he has taken the time with you specifically, and everything that you got, God wanted you to have. So I don't want her to grow up and say, man, let me go ahead and change my butt. Let me go ahead and change my dang on breast. Let me go ahead and change my eyelashes. Let me go ahead and change my eyebrows. Let me change all of the features that God has given me, right? I want her to appreciate what she has, because it's hers. It's been assigned to her. So that's what I'm doing with her mind. And that stuff is a beautiful thing. So she says, man, Dad, she says, man, well, who created this? And I said, God created it. Well, who made this? I said, God made it. God made everything. And she says, man, dang, that's crazy. So I said, man, so God created everything, and he's taking the time to create you. This is the conversation I'm having with my daughter. So if he's created everything and he's carved out time to create you, don't that make you valuable? So shouldn't you appreciate everything that you got? Appreciate your skin, appreciate your situation, appreciate your parents, appreciate everything that you got, because God has created you and he has given you everything that you got. So everything that you got is designed to get you the life that you are supposed to have. Don't be ashamed of anything that you got, because the Because the being that has created everything, that is over everything, that is all powerful, all knowing, that being, which is God, man, he has taken the time to design you specifically. He has put something inside of you specifically. Oh my gosh, what is that doing to her, the way that she's thinking now? Because I'm giving her the truth. I'm not feeding her with lies and stuff like that. I'm not saying that you better than anybody. I told her, I said, man, ain't nobody better than you. And that's how you can go at things, man. Nobody is better than you. But guess what? You are better than nobody else. It's giving her the truth. So she don't go out there into the world and thinking, because I got this black skin, I'm better than you. Because you got that white skin, you better than me. Like, she's not going out there like that. She's going to go out there into the world and say, man, ain't nobody better than me, but I'm no better than nobody else. So she's going to go with a certain approach that's going to warrant progression. I'm intentional about what I'm putting into my children, man.
That's good stuff.
I'm telling you, like, that stuff is powerful because she can process that stuff. And she understands, man, how all-knowing God is, how great God is. And for me to go ahead and say, man, you know what? He created you for a particular reason. So everything that you have, the way that you are, he designed it to be that way. It's never been another you before you. It will never be another you after you, man. You are one-on-one, daughter. Like, you understand how valuable you are? You understand how important you are? How powerful you are? And she's looking, I'm talking about, I'm having this conversation with her. And she's like, wow, no doubt, no doubt. So I'm telling her, man, don't look outside of yourself, look inside of yourself. Nobody's better than you. And that's how you can have that confidence that you need when you are operating off of the truth. That's how you get the confidence, when you operate off of the truth. And the truth is, nobody's better than you. Because at the end of the day, we all small. We've all been created by the same being. You can't go and say, hey, man, hey, go ahead and give me the VIP section because I look pretty. Nah, it's like, man, what you got going on inside of you? Are you in alignment with what you are supposed to be? Are you in alignment with me? If you're not, then guess what? Go ahead and get back there, man. You know? So our lives will reflect on, man, how much of alignment that we are in to what we are supposed to be. So I know that. So that's why I'm giving it to my children. It makes sense? So just think, man, like, that's going to give them the knowledge that they need to have to face their peers, to face the world, a world that says that you got to do things like this, or you got to look a certain way, or you got to be a certain way in order to be accepted. They are going to say, man, you know what? I'm already accepted by the person who has created this whole thing. So if I get connected with the person who has created this whole thing, which is inside of me, then I'm going to be all powerful, right? So they're not going to walk out into the world as they are defeated. Man, my foundation is scripture. My foundation is what I believe in. That's my foundation. That's how I can go at things the way that I go at things. That's why nobody can hold over my head that I got attempted murder, possession of drugs, drug trafficking, possession of firearms. Nobody can hold over my head that I've been incarcerated for 10 years. I take my story in front of anybody and I let anybody know, man, this is my background, but my background don't determine my right and how. Man, I've been able to recover because I have the ability to recover because I tapped in to what's inside of me, which is a spirit that can overcome whatever's on the outside of me. See, this is what makes me powerful, man. It doesn't make me powerful because I do push-ups and I can go ahead and bench 285. You know, that don't make me powerful, right? What makes me powerful is my spirit. And I just continue to tap into that. So because I know that, I let my children know, man, what it takes and what it's all about. But I'm glad that I'm in position to be able to do that. I'm glad that I got the relationship with my children to be able to give them that, so to be able to transfer that information. I'm glad I got the strong relationship with my children to be able to transfer that information to where I can influence them to think in the way that I know that they need to think. So when they go out there, they thinking in the right way. They gonna think they way to success. They gonna think they way to another level. They gonna think they lives into the way that it needs to be. They gonna think they way into creating a heaven on this earth. They're gonna think their way. They're gonna use their minds to create that heaven on this earth that they shall experience, right? I'm just excited to be able to give my children that stuff. And that's why we've been talking about that strong positive relationship, because that's the only way that we can be able to give it to them is if we have that strong positive relationship, because we're not going to be able to get the influence that we desire without it, right? So that's what it's all about, man. But that's something I wanted to share with y'all, because that's heavy duty stuff. If I don't interject, just think of how she can continue to grow.
Yeah, that's not right.
Just think about that. Because you in a society, right, that is pumping lies out. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who it is. That's why I tell man, we better get this stuff together before it's all over with, you know, as a society, man, for humanity. Right? We better pull it together. But we in a society where everybody is trying to be better than the other, instead of people working to be the best them. That's what I can't understand. Like human beings, right? Everybody wants to be better than the other person, and it doesn't matter. You go inside of the penitentiary and people will say, man, you know what? Hey, man, I got one body, and the other person, man, I got two bodies. You ain't bothered like I'm bothered. It's like, man, oh, you done killed two people. Okay, I killed one. Like, you better than me. Like, I'm from the west side, man. I'm from the south side. You know what the south side about, right? People, like, are so quick to compare themselves to other people to make themselves feel better, but feeling better is not being better. So I'm telling my children that you don't want to feel better, you want to actually be better. And the way that you be better is continuing to put yourself up against yourself. It's continuing to compete against yourself, meaning that I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. That's how you actually be better. But you don't be better because you outscore them. That's not making you better because you outscore somebody else. You be better when you outscore yourself. If I outscore that person and I make 115 points and that person made 109 and that person made 114 points, I outscored that person. But yesterday with another team that I was playing, I made 119 points. I made 120 points. I made am I better?
Yeah, every day.
I'm not better if I made 115 points when yesterday I just made 119 points. Right. But I made 115 points and that person made 114 points. Right? Yeah, I won the game, but I didn't win that life. The way that I win that life is when I beat me. It's when I beat the 119. So the way that I get better is when I'm making 120. Because I'm in a competition against myself. Nobody else. That's going to be in the book too, brothers. I'm in a competition against myself. This is the thinking that we must take on. And this is the thinking that I instill in my children. Everything is about, man, their mind. How are they thinking? Thinking is everything. Everything. Just think about it. Just think about it. Everything is about the way that we think. If you say, man, you know what? I can be a good leader for my stepchildren. Guess what? You will be. Because you're going to look for ways to be. I will be a good leader for my children. You will be because you will look for ways to be. I will be a good leader for my children. You will be because you will look for ways to be. I will not get reincarcerated ever again. You won't, because you will look for ways to stay free, right? You will do what's necessary, but you just gotta, man, think it. If you think it, then you shall be it. That's what's so beautiful about it. If you think the that the situation is okay, then it will be okay in the middle of chaos. It doesn't matter that everybody else is saying that it's not okay and it's all hell and everything is bad, right? If you think that it's good and it's going to be okay, your approach to that situation is going to be totally different than the person who is thinking that it's all bad and it's over with. If you think that it's all bad and it's over with, you're going to continue to just run into life in a way to where you are just going to self-destruct because you like, man, it's over with. So why should I even continue to prepare for something besides it being over with? Thinking. Everything is about the thinking. So what we are doing with our children is just making sure that they got the right type of thinking. But for them to have the right type of thinking, who got to have the right type of thinking? We can't give them the right type of thinking if we don't have it, because a lot of times the way that we think, right, it's because we was given that way of thinking by our parents. People don't even try things because the people that they came up around, they told them, man, I don't know why you sit up there trying to do all of that. It ain't gonna be no need. Ain't nobody about to sit up here and hire you. Ain't nobody about to sit up here and take you. Ain't nobody. So now they think like that. So now they don't try stuff because they tell themselves what's been told to them, right? And that's how they are defeated in life, because they say, man, you know what? Hey, man, they tell themselves, man, ain't nobody about to go ahead and accept me. Ain't nobody about to go ahead and love me. Ain't nobody about to go ahead and take me in. Man, I'm not worthy. And because they think that, their lives reflect that. The way that they move reflect that. You see how people's lives can go into a stupor because of the information that they were given and the information that they were operating off of? The thinking. So that's everything, man. When I tell them, I say, man, failure is the tuition to success. So I don't want my children to ever be beat down because they make errors. So when my children, they'll spill something or something like that. My son, he threw up in the bed the other night because he has, he has the asthma, and he was coughing and he threw up in the middle of the night, and he says, dang, Dad, I threw up, man, all over the sheets. And I says, man, no doubt. Okay, cool. I didn't sit up there and say, man, how come you didn't get into the bathroom? How come you didn't throw up in the bathroom, man? Why would you throw up all over your sheets, man? That stuff is stupid. I didn't beat him down about his error. I said, man, no doubt, man. I'm going to go ahead and put the sheets in the, just go ahead and take the sheets downstairs and put them in the washer, right? Go ahead and sleep in your sister's bed right now, man, because I ain't about to go ahead and it's 2:30 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? But I don't allow the mistakes that they make to weigh them down, to be beat down by their mistakes. Daughter spilled juice on my carpet in the back seat of my car. Daughter, it's cool. People make mistakes. Let's just try to figure out how we can not make that same mistake again. Just close the lid on it next time. But I don't make them feel like, man, mistakes are uncommon. That's why people be so critical, because they was raised in a household where if you make a mistake, you're going to get, man, torched, right? What is you doing? What's wrong with you? Ain't nothing wrong with you. You are just being a human being. You are flawed by nature, right? Pencils come with erasers for a reason, because people make mistakes. That's what it is. But that's how we give our children that information that they need to have. But that's powerful. So we gonna go ahead and we coming around. We coming around the corner, fellas, and it's been good, man. We've been building, man. It's been good stuff. I hope that the time that we have spent together, man, has been definitely beneficial, right? Because it's been good for me. Like I said, man, when I have the ability to be able to pour into you brothers, man, that's a good thing for me, because it just helps, man, me be more clearer in my approach to life. It's powerful. So the more that I give, the more that I get. This is a win-win situation. Well, I'm going to say for me, right? It's a win situation for me, and I hope that it's a win situation for you with the information. Just one piece of the information that can maybe change the direction, then I'm good with that. They can maybe just say, man, you know what, hey, man, I'm going to do something like that, then I'm good with that. I've done my job, and I'm good with that. It's a win-win situation. So everything was about establishing a strong, positive relationship with our children, man. So now we got to look at this next layer to establishing a strong, positive relationship with our children. It's none other than the layer of positive co-parenting, right? How important is co-parenting in that relationship with your children?
Very important.
And establishing the goals with your children. How important is it for you and the mother to be on the same page? How important is that relationship?
Very good.
Especially if y'all are in two different households. You see what I'm saying? It's like, what can it do to the child if the child sees mom and dad going at it and fighting all the time and arguing and things like that? What can it do to the child? Can it do to the child, man? Can it cause some confusion with the child? Can the child get to say, man, you know what? If I do this, am I selling out mom? If I do that, am I selling out dad? You see how the child can be in the middle of that stuff? The child can start to feel like that it's about them. Then maybe they can start to say, man, you know what? Mom and dad is going at it because of me. And that can hurt their confidence, that can hurt their development, because they will start to think that it's on me to keep mom and dad, you know, in a good place. And because mom and dad is not in a good place, guess what, man? It's because of me. You know, children are like that, and that's why I say, man, children, they are immature. They just don't know, and their minds will process things differently. As we get older in age, as we evolve, we are supposed to know, man. You know what? Hey, people are people, and we are not the results of people, right? So, but children, they'll say, man, you know, they'll take the situation on themselves and say, you know what? It's because of me. And it'll weigh them down. So we got to make sure that we present to our children that united front. And not only that, but when the children see that it's cracks in the foundation, what will the children do, especially if they are immature?
So they go ask mom if dad said no.
Absolutely right. Mom says no, I'm going to ask dad. Because I know that dad want to show up mom, right? You know, they'll take advantage, and the children will be basically staring their own way. But the thing about it is children are not mature enough to understand what the way is. It is our responsibility as the parents to determine what way they shall go. Because we know, right? We should have the experience to be able to know which way they shall go. So we don't want our children to lead their lives before they are ready. We want to make sure that we are in position to lead their lives as their leader. We don't want to say, children, go ahead and lead yourselves. Because we're supposed to have a bird's eye view of this game and the way that it should be played. Because if our children say, man, I'm just going to do what I feel like doing, guess what they're going to do? They're going to say, man, you know what? I'm not going to eat no vegetables. I'm not going to eat no meat. I'm just going to eat honey buns and candy, right? What's going to happen to them if they just eat honey buns and candy?
Be unhealthy.
They're going to be unhealthy. But us as parents, we know that we need to go ahead and make sure that they eat, you know, some vegetables, make sure that they get some protein in them so that they can be nourished, so that they can grow right? We understand that. But if we leave it up to the children and we say, children, do as you want to do, then they are going to do things that's not going to put them in a desirable place because they don't have the mind. They don't have the experience to know what's needed. This is how I go back and forth with my daughter all the time. It's like, man, you telling me, you seen her in the video, so just imagine full time how that stuff is. You telling me what it is. Like, you telling me that you don't need to go outside with no coat on. And it's November.
I was gonna say you got your hands full with her. I could tell.
Jeez, I'm like, you telling me you gonna go outside with those little cotton, little tight pants on, them little cotton stretch pants? They not jeans, but you know the little things that kids be wearing, little cotton with the little design on the side or whatever may be the case. You know, little cotton pants that come up to here like that or whatever at the bottom. You know, the stretch joints with the elastic waist. You know. It's like, man, that ain't going to be built for no winter time. Like, you need to wear some jeans, daughter. You know, and it's just, man, but just getting her to understand, like, man, you know what? Hey, I have experience, right? I know what's going to put you in the best place. Man, I want to wear that coat. And when she wears that coat, she says, man, hold up, man, it's too cold out here. I told you it was going to be too cold. You know, like, so, but that's what it's about. So we don't want to be sitting up here going at the co-parent and not leading our children and allowing our children to lead themselves, because if the children lead themselves, then they're going to lead themselves right off of the cliff, thinking that it's the way. They're going to be running. It's the way until they go poof, over the cliff. But we know that if you run off of the cliff, you're not coming back. So then that's why we want to be focused on raising our children. And to be focused on raising our children, we cannot go back and forth and be fighting with the co-parent. Because if we fighting with the co-parent, it compromises us being able to lead our children in the right direction. It takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two, not one. So we don't want to just get rid of the mom. We want to make sure that we include the mom. Right? Nobody is better than the next. That means that both parents have something to give to that child. And we want to make sure that we give that child, man, what we are supposed to give that child so then they can develop in the right way. That's what it's about. So then that relationship between mom and dad is important for us to be able to get the job done. And not only that, but when your children see you respecting and see you respecting the co-parent, right? Respecting the mom, it makes them feel a certain type of way. Why? Because that mom means something to them. I always tell fathers, I say, man, you sit up there and say, man, F that, F her, and I can't stand her, and I just want to see my kids. And I say, man, if it's about the kids, then you got to start to care about the mom. See, you trying to go around the mom, and it's not going around the mom, we go through the mom. You see what I'm saying? So every time that I work with fathers and they can't see their children, it's because they trying to go around the mom, man. How can I go around the mom? Because she just crazy, right? Nah, she was that when you got with her. Now you got to work with it because it's not going to change. You still got to have the positive relationship with the mom. Just because she crazy don't mean that you still ain't got to have that positive relationship. You just got to take a little bit more than somebody who would have did the work up front has to take. Because if I would have done the work up front, then I would have said, hold up, you just turn your head around in a 360-degree angle. I cannot be around you. You like got the exorcist in you. I'm not about to put a child in you because I don't want to have to put in all of that work on the back end to establish a strong, positive relationship, right? So when you start to talk about the mom, you actually talking about yourself and that decision that you made to go ahead and have a child with that woman. I hear people complaining all day long about, man, how bad she is and she's terrible and all of that. And I say, man, she wasn't this when you got with her. Did she just evolve into this, or you didn't put a lot of work into making your decision? Remember, we don't live with the decisions, we live with the consequences of our decisions. But when you got with her, only thing that mattered to you is that she looked good and she was able to open her legs up and let you get in, right? That's the only thing that mattered. You didn't really care about, man, who she was and how she did things. Only thing that you cared about was getting your rocks off. And now a child has come out of that. But because you made the decision in that manner, now you got to pay the price, which is working with an individual who is, quote, unquote, crazy in your head, right, to get a strong, positive relationship. To get a positive relationship so y'all can be effective in raising that child. Because just because she crazy doesn't mean that y'all still ain't gotta be on the same page. Because if y'all not on the same page and y'all at war, guess what the children become? Casualties. They become casualties, fellas. The mom can say, man, you know what, you ain't seeing your child. I've seen this. Because of the way that I feel about you, you can't see your children. I've seen that. You know, they don't need to be around you, right? I've seen this. I've seen the parents telling the children, man, you know what, your mom ain't nothing. I can't stand her. She's a piece of dookie, right? Like, I've seen the mothers telling the children, man, your dad ain't worth nothing. He's a piece of dookie, right? I wish he would just go ahead and just hang himself, right? Now, when you are telling the child that about their parent, which has, man, actually participated in creating them, right? How is that child going to feel about themselves? Oh, hold up. You saying that my mom ain't nothing and my mom helped make me, so then that means that half of me ain't nothing then, because I'm half my mom. Oh, hold up. You saying that my dad ain't nothing and my dad helped make me, so you mean to tell me that half of me ain't nothing because my dad ain't nothing in your eyes, so then that's how you feel about half of me that's made up by my father. You see how that can hurt the child's development? And it's all based on feelings. It's not based on, what we actually know. That's why it's important, fellas. Like, that co-parenting piece is important. If I got goals over here in this household and there's goals over here in that household, I want to make sure that we are both on the same page into accomplishing these goals. So if I'm talking about I want my children to be confident, I want my children to be good decision makers, I want my children to be self-regulated, I want my children to be individuals that bring value back to the table, I want my children to be individuals that do their best. When they are there with their mothers, I want the mothers to be supporting the goals. I want us to be on the same page. Just like I talked to y'all about the teacher, and I'm telling the teacher, self-regulated, and go ahead and reiterate that self-regulated character trait that I'm trying to instill into my daughter. So then my daughter goes to school and the teacher is saying self-regulated. My daughter goes to her mother's house and the mother is saying self-regulated. My daughter comes to my house and I'm saying self-regulated. What are the chances that my daughter becomes self-regulated? This is all done out of the way that I'm thinking, man. That's how it's done, because I'm focused on the mission. And because I'm mission driven, I don't have time to be sitting up there arguing and fighting with the mother of my child, because the mother of my child has to be my ally. I cannot make the mother of my child my enemy. If I make the mother of my child my enemy, then my children will become the casualty, because I done made the mother of my child my enemy. So I got to be disciplined in understanding what the task is at hand. I'm mission driven. So then that's why I work with the mothers of my children, which I have 3, and I work with the mothers of my children to ensure that we have a strong, positive, productive relationship to where we can get stuff done. So now when my son's mother says, man, you know what, green light, and she go ahead and starts up a green light account, I go ahead and back her movement by go ahead and attaching my bank account to the green light account. So now I'm working with my son with the investments. You see what I'm saying? I support what she said that she wanted to do. And I went ahead and touched and agreed. And I said, man, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and attach my bank account, and I'll go ahead and be the one that pays them the allowance. You pay for the monthly subscription that it costs to have the green light, and I'll go ahead and give him the allowance. And I'll go ahead and school him on the investments. He got an investment account in the green light, so he's investing into stocks and things like that. It's a beautiful thing, because he's understanding, man, just good work about, he's just understanding, man, what it takes in life. So that's good, though. So when I'm telling his mom, like, man, this is what I'm doing, this is what it is. When I talk to my daughter's mom and I say, man, you know what, like, listen, man, look, hey, this is what it is. And she has the same green light account. This is a beautiful thing. It's a partnership. You know what I'm saying? So now, if you look at it, I got 2 children's mothers and I got 1 child's mother that I'm actually working on a relationship with, right? So it's different. So now that's how it comes off. But we are successful in all of the areas. Is it conflict? Yeah, it's conflict, but we got to work that conflict out. So all of them is getting a different loads, but all of them is, but with all of them, I'm consistent on making sure that the relationship is in a way to where we can be productive with these children, whatever may be the case, right? It's the difference, and that's the exciting part about it. It's a beautiful thing, man, and it's just, but it takes a certain focus. And I'm telling you, it ain't no joke, man, because it's just like trying to juggle that stuff. Because, you know, what I'm doing over here with this mom is like, man, dang, hold up, man. Like, it is like, I don't want it to threaten over here with me and you. We have a different relationship, you know, because it's different relationships with all three of the mothers, right? But all of them is still centered around still making sure that we are partnered in the correct way to raise our children. Man, it's a complicated situation, brother, you know, but I'm still, man, I'm mindful of how important that relationship is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
I'm mindful of how important that relationship is. And that's what I'm just always just working to try to figure out, man, the right mix. Figure out the right mix so we can get it done, so we can get the job done, man. At the end of the day, it's about getting the job done, you know? Mm-hmm. So I got my daughter's mom. It's like, man, we different, you know? We different than my other two children's mothers, right? We different because we are actually, you know, we continuing to work. We was engaged and we dropped off the engagement and we still just working on the relationship, trying to make it stronger so we can move this thing forward. So we different than, you know, my ex-wife or my oldest son's mom. So we different, but I still got to keep that same thing in place, and I got to continue to communicate that to, you know, my daughter's mom to let her know that, man, it's not the same between the other two children's mothers as it is with me and you. It's a difference. You see what I'm saying? Like, but the main thing that is the common goal between all three of us is that, man, all three of y'all is that I want a positive relationship with all three of y'all so we can get the job done. At the end of the day, I don't want no child left behind. I want all my children to be successful, and I don't want them to be casualties because me and the mom can't get it together. It's hard to push that, man. And that's a challenge. That's why I tell anybody, if you got one child's mother, man, stick with that, man. Don't go ahead and brother, you get one child's mother, stick with it, brother. Don't go out there and get 2, 3, 4, right? It's going to be more work. Yeah. Right? I'm just telling you, brother. Like I'm just telling you, I'm giving you some good sound advice, man. You know, if you can keep the one child's mother, man, do that, man. It's going to take more work to have 2, 3, 4 children's mothers, man. It gets complicated, and you got to work out those complications because the children ain't going nowhere. You got to work that stuff out, you know? So I'm just giving you that advice, brother.
My friend's got 5 of them, and it's a 40-hour-a-week job just communicating with them.
Just communicating with them, right?
Yeah.
You know, just making sure that everybody cool as the man. Because I always tell the man, if you are the man, so you got to manage the situation. You got to manage the relationship. Because if you just put the relationship in the hands of the mom, man, it could end up bad. If you responding to the way that the mom is, you can end up in a bad situation, and the relationship can be weak, and you don't want to do that. So I tell the men always, think about how important that relationship is and make sure that you manage that relationship correctly. You see what I'm saying? Because so often, men be sitting up there saying, man, hey, I'm going to go ahead and blow you off the map because you're trying to blow me off the map. Well, if you blow the mom off the map and she blows you off the map, then both y'all are blown off the map and the child is there by themselves, right? Who is raising the child? It's up to the man to say, man, you know what? It's up to the man to sit up there and say, you know what, hold up. I know what's important, and I'm about to do what's important. I know what the mission is, and I'm about to honor the mission. I'm not about to go back and forth with you. I'm not about to go at you. I'm not about to try to wipe you off the map because you are critical to making sure that our children become who they need to be. So I'm not going to say that you are not valuable. I'm not going to say that you are worthless because you are valuable and you are not worthless. You mean something to our children's evolving, right? So I want to make sure that I protect that. I'm not going to let you just go ahead and wither away, because if you wither away, then something can happen to the development of our children. Is it going to hurt your children if something happens to the mother of your children? It's going to put them in a bad space, right? So if we understand that, then why would we be the ones to make something happen to the mother of our children? How come we're not the ones that say, man, you know what? Even though we couldn't be together, we couldn't make it work between me and you on the intimate side, but we got to make it work between me and you on the business side. And what's the business? Our children. That's the mission. So we got to make it work. We got to make it work. That means that I want to show up to teacher conferences alongside with you. I want them to see that there's no cracks in the foundation. Just because we are not together intimately doesn't mean that we are not together for the mission. We are together for the mission, and the mission is to make sure that our children grow up and become successful. That's the mission. So I'm not about to sit up there and be cussing my child's mother out and be all Well, that's where my mind is at. But I'm telling you, sometimes you get wrapped up in your feelings, right? And you lose it. And you get to But we continue to work on it and be better and better. So I'm better than I ever was now. Right now, today. And I'm still going to work to get better. Because when you're getting pricked, and you keep on getting pricked, sometimes you just lose it. Like, man, you know what, man? Forget you. Like, if somebody keep on telling you, man, you ain't nothing, man, they don't need you and stuff like that, sooner or later it could come to a head and you're going to be like, you know what, you ain't nothing. They don't need you. You know what I'm saying? And you go ahead and give them the same lies that they are giving you. So you'll fall victim to that a lot of times, man. But it's just about being conscious enough and understanding, man, what you want to deliver and understanding how important that relationship is between you and the mother of your children and committing to that. So I'm better than I ever was. But that's because I'm coming at it from a thinking point. I understand, man, how important that relationship is. So I work, man, like none other to protect it, to continue to develop it, to nourish it. When my children see me treating their mothers in a respectful way and treating their mothers with kindness, they love that stuff. They love it, literally. They don't look at it and be like, why you treat mom like that? Why you treat mom with kindness? They love it. And I can say that with all three of my children's mothers. My children, they looked at it the same exact way. My 24-year-old, he loved it when I used to just, treat his mom with kindness. You see what I'm saying? Like it was love there. It's not saying that I'm in love with them. It's just saying that it's love there. That's my people. That's crazy. My son's mother, my 13-year-old son's mother, when I treat his mother with kindness and just let him know that it's love there between me and his mom, we're not in love, but it's love there because we had a child together. It makes my child feel like, man, you know what? There's no doubt. It makes him feel good when my daughter sees me and her mom, right? Totally different ball game. But it's more than just love being there, right? Like we all the way in the relationship. So it's different. You see what I'm saying? So it's just more powerful. So but all of them, they love that. They love the way that I interact with their mothers. And that's what I be thinking about when I'm interacting with, my children's mothers. I'm thinking about, man, how can I make sure that the relationship is the way that it needs to be, and how can I stay focused on the mission? Because I want to make sure that I establish that strong relationship with my children. I got to establish a strong relationship with the mothers of my children. Because my children, they can lose some respect if I don't have that relationship with their mothers, because their mothers mean so much to them. I know that. So then that's why I focus on that. But it's no joke, fellas. And it takes work, it takes effort, and it takes a mind. That's why we go through these classes. That's why we have these conversations, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to develop the mind to get it done, is if we talk about it. If you don't talk about how important it is, then you're going to come into a conversation where somebody is telling you, man, F that beat. F that B, man. She could go ahead and kick rocks. You know, somebody will tell you that. And then when they tell you that, then you'll start to act that out. And then you're not going to get the results that you need. Then you'll be calling me, inboxing me, and saying, man, Carlos, I can't see my kids. Man, let's go to court. It's like, brother, why are you trying to go to court? Brother, why don't you go ahead and establish a strong relationship with the mother of your children? Stop trying to go to court. Brother, the court should be on the back end. I'm not dismissing court. It should be on the back end. But ultimately, what you want to do is get that relationship between you and the mother of your children so you can get the job done. But that's where the work is at, is making sure that you become who you need to be. But so often, man, dudes, they be caught up on what they be on. It be that ego that be like, man, you ain't about to play me. You ain't about to have me looking like a certain way. And when people say that, man, who is actually looking at you? You know, people be so in fear of the way that they look in front of people, and people ain't even paying them no attention, for real. Like, ain't nobody paying nobody attention. Like, when people are self-absorbed, people ain't even paying people attention, right? You know, but people will be thinking that. So I tell people all day long, man, you know, go ahead and develop that relationship between you and the mom. You know, make sure that that relationship is functional so you can get the job done. Be mission driven. And once you understand, man, how important that relationship is, now you can start to put in the work to get it done, right? So how do you get it done? How do you think that we get it done? How do you think that we establish that strong relationship with the mother of our children? Now understand, we just discussed how important it is. Everything that was leading up to this, we was just discussing, man, how important it is, right? Why it's so imperative that we have a strong relationship with the mother of our children. We just discussed that, right? Right? So now, after discussing it, and I hear it all the time, it's like, man, yeah, I hear that, but you still don't know how she is, right? So now, how do we get that done? How do you think that we get that strong relationship with the mother of our children? Especially understanding that with that strong relationship, we get influence, right? With that strong relationship, we can transfer information. See how important that is? Remember, the only way that we can get influence is through a strong relationship. The only way that we can transfer information is through a strong relationship. So understanding that, how do we get that with the mother of our children?
Communication is one of them.
Okay, communication. I got you. So what do I need to do in the communication piece? What's the main part in the communication piece?
Communicate like what your goals are and so forth, like, you know, what you want to accomplish and what's making you feel a certain kind of way. And
okay, cool. So everything that you saying is about you. What can you do in the communication part? What's the main piece?
The main piece is
kids.
kids. You want to set your boundaries. Like, look, I'm here for the kids, and we got to get along with each other. The better their life. You know, just because we're not going to be together doesn't mean we can't talk to see how Ryan and Abby's doing, and if there's anything I can do on my side to help you out.
Okay, so again, so with our children, what's the main piece in the communication piece for us to be able for the communication to go smoothly? What do we got to do with our children? Now just think about the things that we've learned into establishing a strong relationship with our children. The same things that we learn, the same principles that we learn to establishing a strong relationship with our children is going to be the same principles that we are going to utilize to establish a strong relationship with the mothers of our children. Get it? So now, what do we go back to, right? The first thing that we talked about focusing on the positive, right? Yeah. We talked about focusing on the positive, building on the positive. That's how we start to create that strong relationship with our children. We do the same thing with the mothers of our children. That means that, man, we look and we identify what they are doing that is right. But if we look at what they are doing that is wrong, then how is it going to come off to the mothers of our children? How is it going to impact that relationship in a negative way? If we are looking at the things that the mothers of our children are doing wrong, we are going to be critical of them, and it's going to come off a certain way. But when we start to look at the things that they are doing right, then we can start to come off a little bit more loving, a little bit more with kindness, right? And it's going to enrich that relationship. But so often we are geared toward seeing the things that they are doing wrong, and that's what we talk about. What type of mom is you? Man, you ain't sitting up here, you ain't picking them up from school in the right time, man. You 10 minutes late every day, picking them up from school. What's wrong with you, man? Why don't you get there on time, right? But you're not going to say the right that they are doing, man. You are there to pick them up from school every day. You are working, and because you work and you can't get off of working time and you making it there still, you are committed to picking them up from school every day. You just need to go ahead and shave a little bit more time off of the front end so you can get there on time to pick them up. But you ain't talking about the positive. Only thing that you talking about is the negative. So if you looking at everything that's wrong with the mother of your children, or that's the only thing that you highlight, that's the only thing that you talk about, it's going to make the relationship weak. Because they are going to say, man, you know, who you think you are? They're going to feel negatively inside of you, inside of them. The same way that the children felt negatively inside of them when you would talk about all of the wrong that they did and not the right that they did. So then that's the first thing that we do. We want to look at the right that they are doing and encourage the behavior and be specific, right? This can go a long way into establishing that strong relationship with the mother of our children. What's the next thing that we must do? Nothing says that you are there for a person more
than listening.
Than just to listen, right? So when you were saying, man, you know, tell them what the goals is, tell them all of that, before we tell them anything, before we give them anything, we got to give them us. We got to be there for them. And what says that we are there for them? More than just to listen. So for them to receive the information that we want them to have, we must go ahead and allow them to give us the information that they want us to have. We must get an understanding of them. We must be there for them. So we must intentionally listen when they are talking. That means that if they are talking about whatever, and y'all don't even have to be together, but they are talking about some stuff that happened in their life, you got to be there and listen to them and let them know that they matter to you. And how do we show them that? Wow. Remember, short phrases? I understand. That makes sense. Checks out. I dig it. We're not taking over the conversation. We doing the head nods. We giving them the eye contact, the empathetic facial expressions. Wow. Saying what they might be feeling must be exciting, right? You know what I'm saying? That's all we are doing when they are conversing with us. We are just making sure that they understand that we are engaged to the conversation. And that's going to make them start to feel valuable in our presence. And if they feel valuable in our presence, then that's going to go a long way into enriching the relationship, strengthening the relationship. Ultimately, what is our goal? To make sure that the relationship between us and our children's mothers is strong so we can be influential in the lives of our children. Right? So then that's why we are doing this. Wow. No doubt. Not giving them answers when they ain't asking. When they come into us to talk, we just go ahead and give them the floor to be able to talk. So then when they leave our presence, they say, man, you know what? I was able to get out what was inside of me. I was able to get out what I really do want for our children. You know, we want the mothers to be able to have that conversation with us. We don't want them to we don't want to try to get them to feel a certain way because they thinking whatever they thinking. We want to honor whatever they is thinking. But so often, when somebody thinking something contrary to what we think, we try to say, you stupid, you dumb. No, man, that's what you think, right? Like, man, we try to make them feel crazy because they thinking what they thinking, but they thinking what they thinking because they was raised the way that they were raised. So they are thinking the way that they are thinking because of the content that they got circulating in their heads. We must honor individuals as individuals, but so often people be mad. I'm telling you, man, the arrogance of humanity, man. Like, people are so arrogant. They believe that, you know what, you got to think like I think. If you don't think like I think, you wrong. Instead of just saying, I respectfully disagree. I agree to disagree. You thinking that and I'm thinking this. It doesn't mean that I'm less or you're more or I'm more or you're less. It just means that we're thinking two different things. But at least I know what you're thinking because I've taken the time to listen. And I haven't shut you down. You see what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that we listen to the mothers of our children. And listening, I'm telling you, this is where a disconnect is at so often too. Listening is not, again, we understand what listening is. Listening is not doing what they tell you to do, because that's a lot of time. You're not listening to me. And when they say you're not listening to me, it's because because they say that you're not doing what they told you to do. It's like, well, hold up. Do you want me to listen to you or do you want me to do what you're telling me to do? Because they're two different things. Listening to you is getting an understanding of what you are saying. Just because I got an understanding of what you are saying don't mean that I agree. It just means that I've given you the floor to get an understanding of what you are saying. I value what's inside of you so much that I'm going to get an understanding. But just because I got an understanding, I can still disagree. So listening to you don't mean that I'm going to go ahead and do. You hear people say, happy wife, happy life. No, no. No, you're not going to have a happy life if you're doing things that you don't have an understanding of what you are doing those things for. It's best to have an understanding and then you go. Because then you can back whatever it is that you've done. You don't have to sit up here and say, only reason I did it is because of them. Because of them. No, I came to my own conclusion on why I did what I did. And I back it. And I'll do that again. It puts you in a better place, right? So listening is the next thing that we want to do to strengthen the relationship between the mother of our children and ourselves. The next thing that we want to do is what? Remember? Forgiveness. Forgiveness, right? Remember the 3 prongs to forgiveness. Asking for forgiveness, and I tell fathers all the time, I said, did you ask the mother of your children for forgiveness? Because there's some stuff going on. It's a war that she has set inside of her in regard to you. And they say, this is what I hear the men say all the time. I don't know why she tripping. Brother, come on, man. Like, let's be realistic. Man, have you been apologetic for what you have done in that relationship when y'all was together? Y'all not together now, but have you been apologetic for whatever transpired in that relationship? Have you taken the time to say, man, I apologize? And remember, when you apologize to somebody, it gives that person that respect that is needed to strengthen the relationship, because that is telling that person that, you know what, I seen the error in my ways and I'm going to work on it like mad to make sure that it doesn't happen again, because I have mustered up the courage to say that I'm wrong and to tell you that I'm sorry and to ask for your forgiveness. That's why it's so important to apologize. And I say, man, have you apologized? And they say, man, I ain't do nothing wrong. I say, man, well, just go ahead and think about it. But don't come to her and say, man, I apologize for everything that I did. Because again, when you say that and it's that broad, you really ain't apologizing about nothing. You just trying to move the relationship forward because you want to access the children. You want to get something from you saying it. It's not because you are there for them. You actually doing it in a manipulative way where you are trying to get something. You are trying to get them in a space to where you can access your children. So that's what it's about. It's not about them. And they will be able to identify that it's not about them. When you sit up there and say, I'm sorry for everything, you ain't sorry for nothing. You just want something. But when you are sincerely sorry, it don't matter if you give me anything or not. I'm sincerely sorry. I see the error in my ways, and I'm going to change that error regardless if you accept my apology or not. I'm going to change that part of me because I don't want to exhibit that out here into the world because I don't believe it to be right. So now you can take it as face value now. It's different. But if I'm just saying I'm sorry for everything, then guess what? I'm manipulative and I'm trying to get something from you. And the mothers can ultimately, they'll be able to read that. But that takes some evaluation. It takes you looking back and seeing, man, what was going on in the relationship and just being honest with yourself. Being honest where you was at mentally when you was having a relationship with that mom. You know, I tell fathers all the time, man, when you got with her, you wasn't trying to help her be the best her. You was just trying to see what you can get off, you know, and that's all it was about. You wasn't getting with her and saying, man, you know what, I'm looking at your life and I'm trying to see, man, how can I make your life the best that it can possibly be? How can I make you the best that you can possibly be? How can I help improve you? You wasn't thinking about that. You was getting with her and saying, man, how can you fit into my life to make my life better? So it was one of the, it was the concept, it was under the concept of what? What can I get? Not what can I give? What can I take? You know, just on the selfish stuff, you know. And that's what creates the resentment so often, because there was no reciprocity in the relationship. Because you was in a relationship and it was all about what you gonna get, how you gonna feel better. That's what it was all about. And now the mother is feeling a certain type of way, is feeling some resentment, and now she has established a war against you because of the way that you entered into the relationship. Come on, man. You didn't enter into the relationship in love. You entered into the relationship in lust and trying to please what you got going on. I know I need to have some sex. I know I need to eat some food. And they can go ahead and address all of those wants that I have. See, it's all about I. See what I'm saying? So the relationship that you got into with the mother was all about I. And that has created the resentment inside of the mom. So now she is like, man, I don't care. I'm at war. I don't care you don't see these kids. It's making you feel a certain type of way, and you ready to jump off the ledge. Go ahead and do it. I'm going to do everything in my power to get underneath your skin because I don't like you because of the stuff that I believe you done to me. So that's why it's important, again, to evaluate what has transpired in the relationship between you and the mother and say, man, you know what, man, hold up, man, I was off, man. Like, I was on some immature stuff and I wasn't ready for no relationship like that. And I was in something that I wasn't ready for. And I didn't take the time. You know, I didn't care about myself, so ain't no way I could care about somebody else. And just being honest. And then when you be honest, then you come and tell them that and say, I apologize that I went on ahead and pulled your coattail before I was even ready. And I know that I created, you know, some stress, some strife in your life, man, because I got into your life when I wasn't ready. It's not saying anything about them. It's just you being accountable for you, right? This is important. It's for us to be accountable for us because that's the only thing that we can correct is us. Those are the only errors that we can change is our errors. We can't change nobody else's errors. So then that's why we want to make sure that we let them know that we are looking at us. We're not looking at them. We ain't seeing what they wanted or what they was trying to do in the relationship. It's not about that. It's about us. When I'm coming with my apology, I'm coming with my apology based on my errors. I'm not apologizing for somebody else's errors because I can't correct somebody else's errors. I'm only apologizing for my errors. So when I'm apologizing to the mother of my child, it's based on my errors. So the forgiveness process, the first prong is what? Asking for forgiveness. That's the first thing that we must do. What's the next thing that we must do to strengthen a relationship? We must forgive ourselves. So now after I ask the mother of my child for forgiveness, right? Then I must forgive myself and say, man, I was just where I was at. Man, I had limited information on how to be, you know, the person that I needed to be at the time when I got with her, man. So now I'm a whole different type of individual. So now I'm not going to be held to that stuff so I can move forward. So now I forgive myself, right? So then they don't see me, man, just with my head down and things like that, and I can threaten the relationship. I let them know that, man, I made errors, but guess what? I'm so confident that I'm not going to make those same errors again. And that's why I've forgiven myself. That can strengthen the relationship as well. You know what I'm saying? And then after that is forgiving others, right? That's the third prong, forgiving others. So we must forgive them. How do we forgive them? Because we understand that people are flawed by nature, right? We understand that, man, you know what? The reason why she may be responding the way that she is responding is because of the way that she was raised. So we forgive them for the things that they've done and let them know it. Forgive them. So we're not being critical with them. Because if we hold that grudge with the mother of our children, I don't care how much you smile, I don't care how much nice things, how many nice things you say, it's going to come out that you got a grudge against them. And you got to address that. It starts within, brothers. So you got to make sure that that grudge is gone. But the way that the grudge is gone is by thinking about it. Because you got with her anyway. You know, like, so I tell people, man, how long you gonna hold a grudge against yourself? Because you the one that got with her and everything. So we ask for forgiveness, right? We forgive ourselves and we forgive others. And these are things that we can do to strengthen the relationship between the mother of our children and ourselves. right? And when we do that, brothers, it's a beautiful thing. Then we can get the job done. I remember, man, I had my daughter, right, and she was at school, and she was talking about, man, hey, Dad, man, I'm gonna go ahead and take my lip gloss and I'm gonna put it in the console. And I said, man, put it in the console. I said, why? She said, man, because I don't want it to get lost when I go inside of the school. I know I'm gonna be running around and it's gonna get lost. So this is exactly what she says. So she says it's safer for me to have it here because I want the desired result, which is to keep my lip gloss. If I go inside of there with the lip gloss, guess what? It's going to get lost, right? Because I'm not going to be thinking about it. And when she said that, I said, wow, you regulating yourself. Man, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's good stuff. I seen the goal that she had, that I had for her being exhibited, and I encouraged the behavior. And I told her exactly what she was doing, how it benefited the situation, how it's going to benefit her in the future. When I told her mother that I seen that, and she was smiling when I was encouraging that behavior, I told her mother, and her mother said, man, you know what? She did the same thing to me the other day. I didn't even realize that she was doing that. I just said, okay, it just made sense. And I didn't encourage the behavior. So when I told her that, and she said, man, I could have took advantage of that opportunity. Opportunities of a lifetime during the lifetime of the opportunity, right? She said, I could have took advantage of the opportunity and encouraged the behavior to further lock in that character trait that we have for her. We have for her. This is a team, right? And she says, next time I see her, next time she says that, I'm going to encourage the behavior. You see what I'm saying? For her to go ahead and pick that up and say, I'm going to run with it too, and I'm going to back what you are talking about, just like you'll back what I'm talking about. Now the child doesn't see no cracks in the foundation. So now we are able to get the job done that we are supposed to get done with developing this child. See, this fatherhood piece is just bigger than just messing with your children. We got to make sure that everything that's surrounding them is good too. We got to make sure that the environment that they are growing up in is solid. Oh my gosh. And if they are growing up in an environment where it's all of this chaos because we are fighting and we are at war with the mothers, then how is their development going to be? That's why I tell people, man, don't be so quick to get children. Like, if you got to be ready for it up here.
No.
Because it's not no game, right? This is going to take everything in you. That's why I say children are a blessing from God, because who you got to become to be able to lead them in the direction is no joke, man. And when you become who you need to be, man, your life is going to be enjoyable. When you make the decision to become who you need to be, when you put in that effort that is required to be who you need to be with your children, man, you are going to be able to reap some fruits that are desirable, that other people covet. But you got to make that decision to become who you need to be, because it's going to take everything in you. You got to sacrifice yourself in order to be able to become who you need to be. That means it doesn't matter what you feel. How you feel doesn't matter, brother. Get to it. I feel angry. I feel tired. Doesn't matter, brother. Get to it. Get the job done. She's making me mad. I just want to blow her off the map. No, you can't, because she is necessary in the development of your children. You cannot blow your child's mother off the map. If something was to happen to your child's mother, it's going to impact your children in a negative way. You cannot do what you feel. You got to know. You got to think your way through it. You got to understand how important that woman is to the mother. You got to understand how important that woman is to the development of your children. Yeah, you want to go ahead and, I want to break her down. I want to let her know that she ain't nothing. Okay, when you accomplish that and she continues to be nothing, how is that going to impact your children? When she's interacting with your children, guess what? She's going to interact with your children in the belief that she is nothing. So she will not believe that the way what she does is doing anything that affects the child development. Powerful, man. So that's what it's about. That's what it's about. So after understanding all of that, brothers, and understanding how important it is to have a strong relationship with the mothers of our children, and doing all of the work that we have done throughout these sessions and learning what we have learned, the last session that I want to discuss, and this is the last topic, and we're going to wrap it up, brothers, is none other than, man, taking care of yourself. You know, like, that's important. You can't take care of nobody else if you don't take care of yourself. This parenting piece, it starts with you and it ends with you. So then that's your main responsibility, is to make sure that you develop yourself and to be who you need to be so you can take care of your children and your responsibilities. I can't show my children the direction if I don't find a direction for myself first, right? So if I can't figure my life out, ain't no way I can help my children figure out their lives. So this parenting piece, it starts with us and it ends with us. So we got to make sure that we are doing the things that are necessary, that says that, man, I'm taking care of myself. I tell fathers all the day, man, go to the doctor once a year, man. Make sure that you up to date about what's going on inside of you, because there's some silent killers out there that you don't even know that's going on, and it'll creep up and it'll be like, boom. Your cholesterol can be crazy, your blood pressure can be crazy, and you don't even know it. That's what the doctors is for. Your sugar can be high, you don't even know it. That's what the doctors is for, right? Taking care of yourself. Because I can sit up here and say, man, you know what, my children are important all day long. But if I'm sitting up here, man, running myself into the ground, running my body into the ground, then am I going to be here to even be able to give my children the information that I feel like that they need? No, because my body will not be able to withstand it. So we want to make sure that we take care of our health, we take care of our mind, we take care of our spirit. Mind, body, and spirit. Right? So then ultimately we can be built to do this work that we supposed to do. So when we say we about to go ahead and do this work, somebody ain't gonna look at us and be like, yeah, right. You ain't even got what it takes to do the work. You're not healthy. You're not mentally right. You're spiritually depleted. And when we say, we about to do this work, somebody looking at you like, you ain't about to get no work done. You don't have what it takes. You haven't focused on the things that matter to be able to get the work done. I can sit up here and say, man, I'm about to build this house and I ain't got no tools. Do you believe me? No matter how strong and how convicted I am in doing it, you're going to be like, this brother's delusional. I'm about to go ahead and build a house. And I don't have no wood, I don't have nothing. I don't have no wood, I don't have no concrete, I don't have nothing. And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna build this house. And I don't have the things necessary to build the house. You're gonna be like, man, brother, you ain't about to do nothing. You saying it. But you don't have it. If you get, I know what you believe by what you're doing. So when I'm sitting up there drinking water, I got water in my dang old thing, like drinking water, I do that stuff for a reason. I'm just doing the best I can. And guess what? It's more improvement that can be made, a whole lot more improvement on my diet and everything else. It's a whole lot more improvement, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I continue to get up. Again, remember, I'm in comparison with myself. So I'm getting better today than I was yesterday, right? Just getting better with myself. That's what it's about. But I do that because I'm taking care of myself. I'm always working, trying to get better. Maybe I can run a little bit more. Maybe I can jump a little bit more rope. So when you're taking care of yourself, the next thing that you want to do, you want to make sure that you are looking for, some things that you like to do. What are some things that put your spirit at ease, your soul at ease? That you just like, man, this is good. You said earlier, man, you want to go out and just have a good meal, right? That's some good stuff. You just want to have a good meal and just be able to enjoy that. What's some good things that help you feel, good, at ease? It can be small things. It can be you going out into the wilderness. Some people like to hunt, or some people like to camp. They like to be out there. Some people like to fish. Whatever it is. Something that puts your body at ease. You know, me, myself, I like to watch the Browns games. You know, so I'm going to be right in front of the TV with my food and, you know, my little adult beverage, right? And I'm going to be right there watching my Browns games because that's what I like to do. Now, it might not be something else that somebody else like to do, but guess what? I like to do it, and it provides me a certain level of satisfaction. So the Browns might not provide other people satisfaction, but guess what? It does me. And guess what? I'm responsible for me.
It frustrates me sometimes.
Right. I need to be there, man. So, but that's what it is. But I make sure that I include that into my schedule. So some people might say, man, you know what, Carlos, man, how the heck are you? And that, I'm telling you, brothers, that's with everything, too. I'm just telling you. So when you see classes, man, scheduled, it's not by chance that they're not scheduled when the Browns games come on. Right? It's not by chance, right? It's not by chance that I haven't had a class scheduled when the Browns come on for a reason. It's not by chance, brothers. It's because of a reason. So when they said, man, you know what, Sunday, you got to come in. If you're going to do class on Sunday here at the CAC, they said it's got to be around this time, about 2 or something. And I said, well, I guess it's just going to be Friday and Saturday because Sunday is reserved for Carlos Christian. Because I like to watch the Browns games. Because we can get caught up in trying to do everything everywhere else, and you don't take that time for yourself, and then you're not able to go at whatever it is that you're doing with the amount of energy that you need to go at it with because you haven't taken the time to go ahead and treat yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Brothers, y'all not going to sit up here and say, because brothers, this is content. Y'all ain't going to say, man, Los, man, you not coming in here today. You coming in here on a Sunday when the Browns is on, you can't come in. Brothers is going to be like, come on in, brother. Come on, let's get it in. Like, cool. So that's what I'm saying. Even your children, they're not going to sit up here and stop you from doing that. They're not going to make sure that you do the things that you like to do. Your children. Nobody is going to make sure that you do the things that you like to do. It is your responsibility to go ahead and implement that into your schedule and tell everybody else who pulling at you, because when you get out of here, they're going to be pulling at you, right? Hey, come here. Oh, you can do this. Everybody going to have something for you to do, right? It just is what it is. Children, girl, mother, father, cousin, friends, everybody going to have something for you to do. You just got to make sure that you carve out a section of your life for you to do the things that you like to do that pleases your soul so you can be built for all of the stuff that you're going to have to do in life. The best thing that you can do for your children is take care of yourself because it shows them how to take care of themselves. And it's their responsibility to take care of themselves. Nobody's going to do it like you, right? So that's what it is, brothers. Don't be afraid to tell somebody no. My cousin, she hits me up. She says, hey, Cousin Carlos, man, I'm trying to go ahead and move this couch up the stairs. Oh, my gosh. She told me this when the Browns was on. And I say, man, what the heck you... See, because she's not setting up her schedule based on me, is she? She's setting her schedule up based on her. This is just the way the people are, man. And I'm like, man, but it's my responsibility to say, the Browns on. You lucky I answered the phone. You better sit that couch on the side somewhere because, like, you got to wait or hit me up later. But right now, no way. And then they lost too. I ain't even moved. I laid it down. Like, we got blew out. I laid it down. And I attributed the loss to her calling too. I say, man, you called. If you wouldn't have called, we wouldn't have lost, right? Like, this stuff crazy. But just to understand that, because I understand that, man, people, they want to get done what they want to get done. It's on you to get done what you know need to be done. And what need to get done is making sure that you take care of yourself, making sure that you implement into your schedule the things that matter. Don't brush them off to the side. Don't say that I'm not worth it. It's no more time for me. It's about everybody else. No, it's about you because we need you in this whole setup. We need you here. We need you to be in the best mind state. We need you to be in the best health. We need you to be in the best spirits, right? We need you, right? And that's your responsibility, brother.
That was that Patriots game, wasn't it?
It was the Patriots game.
They blew us out.
Talking about move a couch.
Yeah,
at 2 o'clock. But she's not understanding that Sunday and the Browns is on. She doesn't care about that. She just cares about what the heck she wants to get done. But I care about it, so then it's on me to say, you know what, no, heck no. Click, holla at you. But that's the responsibility. All right, brothers, man, it's been
Good
real,
stuff.
man. We got it done, man. It's been good stuff, man. I enjoy building with y'all brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy building with y'all brothers, man. You know, it makes it worth it, man, to do this work. You know, it makes this work worth it.
When you come back and start again.
When Lisa, she tells me there's some more people in there.
There's new group.
Yeah, new group.
It was a bad timing with that house being built and all that stuff.
Right, absolutely.
But hey, you still was able to teach 3 of us. So.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm saying, and it was worth it,
Better than
man.
none of us.
You know, ain't no doubt, man. Ain't no doubt, man. Ain't no doubt. Even I got Antoine. I got man. He done been here as much as he can, man. You know what I'm
He
saying?
can hear what you're saying.
No,
I can hear you.
No
When
doubt.
I do that, I can hear you. Still, I can hear you. Did I get in that zone? Man.
That's dope, man.
But I can still hear you, though.
That's dope, man. That's dope, man. That's dope, man. I appreciate y'all brothers, man, showing up. You only missed one, man, you know.
Yeah, I know. That one morning I was a little sick.
Absolutely.
Medicine I started.
Absolutely. But still, just to be consistent. And, bro, you done been here every trip, man. Locked and loaded,
I'm
man.
messing around. I'm looking forward to getting home and seeing the results of this, you know what I'm saying?
Heck yeah, man.
excited.
Heck yeah, man. Like, you done been locked in, man. You done been locked in. That's good stuff, man. I appreciate y'all brothers, man. Appreciate y'all brothers.
Appreciate you.
So what I got for the graduation, man, we got the prison with not the prison. Y'all already got the Prison Without Bars, the first book, but this is the walking logo, right? And the walking logo is everything that I did when I came home, right?
Okay.
So then this is the transition back into society. Remember, the Prison Without Bars is the foundation. How do I become this individual? How do I develop this philosophy that doesn't get me incarcerated? That's the foundation. And then the walking logo is everything that you do to build on that foundation, right? And it's written the same exact way in the same tone as the Prison Without Bars. Straight to the point, information, A to B to C. That means, man, how do you look at employment? Right, that's going to help you be able to get it done. How do you get your credit established? I talk about that in here, right? You know, like powerful stuff, man. Making investments. I talk about that in here. How do you go ahead and get a shared parenting plan in the courts, right? Establish your paternity with your children. I talk about that in here. I break it down, point A to point B to point C. Who to surround yourself around when you get out of here. Talk about that in here. How important relationships are outside of here when you go back into your community, right? That's going to be important. People are going to be going in opposite directions of you. Your responsibility is to let them go, right? Because you don't want to sit up here and continue to fight with somebody who's going in the opposite direction of where you want to get to. It takes too much energy because it's people who are going in your direction and you get with those people. So that's what the walking logo is all about, man. It's powerful. And then there's also a chapter in here, the speed of recovery. It's powerful. Because when you take this journey, one thing that I realize is brothers is going to fall off. But you got to get back on. How fast do you get back on? Don't think that you're going to run a perfect race. Nobody does, right? You might be focused on, you know, doing right with your children, doing right with the mother of your children and stuff like that, and you might cuss them out, you know. This speed of recovery, but how fast do you get back on, right? How fast do you understand the error and address it and get back on track? That's what it's about, and I talk about that too. Is everything that I talk about in here, brothers, is the stuff that I've been able to do to say that I've been home for 14 years. I haven't been home for 14 years just by chance, brothers. This is not by chance. I put that information in here. So this is the walking logo, and this is what y'all will get. And this is and the Ohio Commission on Fatherhood actually purchase these books and make sure that everybody who goes through the class, they get the books, man. Powerful thing, man. All right, here are the certificates. Ronnie Mall.
Thank you.
No doubt, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you too.
No doubt, man. Absolutely. Congratulations. There goes your
Thank
book, man.
Learned a lot to give me a head start whenever I do have kids, and for the little stepson I got. So
Absolutely, man. No doubt, man. Just coming through it from a thinking place, man.
yep.
Antron Williams.
Good looking, man. I
No
appreciate
doubt.
it.
Absolutely, big man.
Appreciate it for sure.
Good stuff,
I
man.
got 4 kids.
Ain't no doubt, man. Get it in, man. Get it in, man. Alan Atkins. Good stuff, G. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Oh, you go there.
Congratulations, man. Oh, okay.
You gonna write any more books?
Oh man, when they come to me, I will. I do got a book on me though. I'm just waiting on for it to materialize, man. So yeah, I got my 4th book coming, man. I got 3 books. I got another book. It's called The Greatest Responsibility, and it's everything that we basically discussed in here. The greatest responsibility, becoming the parent your child deserves. So yeah, that's my 3rd book, but I got another book. It's in the making. So I think, man, the way that it's been set up, it's been like every 2 years I come out with another book. So I came out with Prison Without Bars in 2015. I came out with The Walking Logo in 2017. I came out with The Greatest Responsibility in 2020. So yeah, it's about every 2 to 3 years, man, I come out with another book. So I'm about due for another book.
I seen these ones in the jail when I was in the county jail.
Actually, yeah, man, them stuffs be all over the place,
Yeah.
man. Like, that's the content. It's all about the information, man.
Yeah.
That's how we change the game. Like, the stuff that we've covered inside of this class, brothers, is some stuff that can, burn on your brain, man, to help you, like, really think about things through some different lenses. Just with a different perspective. That's all we here for, So,
Absolutely. Appreciate your time.
appreciate you too, brother.
Sir. Okay.
All right, good stuff, man. I'm out. Let me get on to the community. I got to go
Have
to
a
the
safe trip,
NECIC.
man.
Thanks, brother.
Got another class today, huh?
Yep, you better believe it, man.